Hello, and welcome to the Recipe for Disaster Freeing the Goblin General's Quest Guide. The only quest requirement we have is completing Goblin Diplomacy, but we're going to need some items for this quest: bread, orange knife, purple dye, spice, fishing bait, bucket of water, charcoal, some teleport items, and some stamina potions if you would like. The last two are not required, but I highly recommend them as we're going to be running around a lot, pretty much like a chicken with our head cut off, because these guys are really emotional and they're constantly flip-flopping what they want, which we're going to be in for a treat here in a little bit. But first, we're going to begin the recipe for disaster because this is the first time I've actually entered this room. You may or may not have to do this, but if you do, you're going to go through this little cutscene and then we're going to have to talk to these goblins. Goodness, that general just... That chair's about to break. That chair is literally about to break. Goodness me, this might be one of the longest cutscenes in all of RuneScape. Goodness, little monkey. Sit on down, little monkey. Don't know if he needs to be that aggressive with that monkey. Didn't he really need to kick him? Probably just needed to show him where his chair was. It's a bit rude, but that's kind of how things work around here in RuneScape. Hmm. Don't talk smack about the old man. Goodness, look at that strapping character walking in with that thick beard and slicked hair. Okay. Mr. Colomano Romancer. Not exactly sure how to pronounce that. The Culinar Romancer. Really appreciate you helping everyone out at this fancy feast. Of course, the gypsy has spells in her back pocket, of course. Good old gypsy is always casting spells on people. You know, I was casted a spell on, or I had a spell cast on me by a gypsy back in college. 6 months later, a couple car payments in, dollars out of my wallet, and I realized where I was. I was in a trash chute in the back alley, thinking that this was the high life. I'll never date a gypsy again. Alright, so you might be noticing that I'm leveraging the teleportation network of other people's houses. I do this quite frequently. You can go to the player-owned house world, which depends on it's typically 3:30, although my best friend MS Abby, shout out to MS Abby, he will sit in 319, so you can use his house as well in 319, but you can always find an open house in 3:30. And that's just a quick way for me to get some teleports that I don't already have available. Which in this case, I really probably didn't need. Just needed to go to Falador, um, but I didn't have a water rune, so whoops. Sometimes you just whoops. Sometimes you realize after you make the video that I probably should have brought a water rune, and then you tell everyone else to bring a water rune. All right, so we're checking this cookout down here. We're gonna be like, oh, what are you making, man? I hope it's better than the colon of Roman answers. Hope you're not killing people. Look, I'm gonna need some of your help. Yeah, did you not realize, bro, I have all the items you need? I'm sure he didn't realize. You want to know why? Because I gotta cut some things up first. Let's cut up these oranges. Make sure you pick the correct orange cut. And then we're gonna dye those just to make them real gunky looking. Put some spice on that fishing bait. And then you ask yourself, is this really something that any living being should consume? And then you ask yourself, what did I forget? This quest is really supposed to just take a quick second, as long as you have all the items prepared. And you know what? Sometimes you just don't have the items prepared. Look at me, silly me, grabbing his bucket of water finally. Goodness gracious, should have had that filled up with water the entire time. I even recommended to bring a bucket of water, not a bucket. And look, now I'm hanging out at this guy's house, just begging around. I have to run all the way back. You know what? You pretty much can just skip this portion of the video if you want. I highly recommend it. Because we are just running. We're running back to where we came from because we didn't have that bucket of water that the friendly cook wanted. And you know what? It's because we're not following a guide out here. In the gaming freakish community, we don't follow guides. Okay, that is absolutely false. We absolutely follow guides. But sometimes you don't follow them perfectly, and you mess up. And it's more interesting on how you can mess up than it is if you do it perfectly. I feel like every time I do a quest, there's always one little thing that I just forgot. You know what I mean? Just forgot it this time. And when you have a long quest like Desert Treasure, you forget a lot. And you try to follow that quest guide and it never works out for you. It always works in the end, but it never works in the first try. And that's why I showed this quest guide just the way it is, because this is the truth about RuneScape. Sometimes you just gotta run back and grab some extra items. Sometimes you just needed a sink. Sometimes you actually had a sink there the whole time, and you went to a different one out in Remington anyway. And it's all for what? All so this general can blow his brains out with the gross, gunky items that you provided him. And now these goblins are shaking in their boots. Look at them. They're like, this is an earthquake. This is an earthquake. We are not ready for an apocalypse yet. We do not want our worlds to end. Boom. Look at that. That is health on a plate. Right there. It absolutely did. Mr. Goblin Cook knows exactly what he's doing. He has explosive taste. Alright. I'm done with you, Goblin Cook. Thanks for your bowl, because we're going to go drop this off at the wonderful picnic where all these random folks are. Of course, just use that item on that general, either one. Really doesn't matter. And boom! Quest complete. I hope you enjoyed this quest. You've now received fishing, herb lore. No, there's no fishing. Cooking, farming, herb lore, and a bunch of other things. I hope you really enjoyed that and have a wonderful day. Rate, comment, and subscribe.